So let's follow him. Yeah. Mind those lampposts here. You will need them later. Mind the broken lamppost here. That will be part of one of the first puzzles we will solve. I'm still not quite sure if I was first open all the doors. We have 3 doors to open here. But I don't think... Yes, a whistling rock. We wouldn't have realized otherwise. That's the subtitles doing that. It makes one of the puzzles a little easier to see where you hear things, but not that much. It's not that why I use subtitles. Oh, and another thing, I'm not playing completely blind. I've played it before, but that's been a few years back, and... well... I have notes. Which is a good thing, because otherwise a few things would take me ages. Right now we are in the task. In this building task thing where the madman with a book disappeared to. And now we will have a good look around here. We have here a small device that shows us one of the basic laws of physics, that if you hang a stick somewhere and one arm is twice as long as the other, you need only half the weight on the long arm as on the other in order for it to be balanced. Yeah, really basic, and everyone knows it, but we are shown anyway, and that's a good thing, because we'll need that later. What I just grabbed was a diary, a journal, but I think that will have to wait a little moment. Picture of a woman on the wall, whoever it may be. We can, in this kind of study thing, we can learn a few things about the laws of the world we are dealing with. One of these things is we learn that this set of scales, which is in perfect balance, although it's not stuck, has 1 weight of stone and 4 weights of whatever it is. It's not glass, but I'll call it that for lack of a better word. I don't have an idea what it's supposed to be, but it can't be glass. You'll see that later. So, we learned that electricity will make small pieces of a certain kind of rock float. We will also learn that electricity will cause a certain sort of plant to open and release its prey. We will all need all these things later, but it's I always wonder, if you play the game the first time, you don't really pay attention to this. You do, but if you encounter it later, it's much more coincidence. Here you have 4 balls of wood, which are as heavy as 1 ball of glass, which makes 16 balls of stupid wood as heavy as 1 piece of rock, because of this one we saw before. So, I think we will now dedicate ourselves to the 2 journals we've got here. First, Atrus's, which I will not read out because it's really long. He's basically wondering throughout all those pages what he will do to rebuild to create a perfect age for his people. And he remembers a few sentences he's been taught by his grandmother, one of them being energy powers future motion. Which basically means that he will have a world full of energy as the driving force, as the center of the world is probably a better way to say it, because force is another term that will come. Nature encourages mutual dependence. There will be a very nature-balanced world, and nature-balanced world, centered. Third, dynamic forces spur change, and that's a hell of a world. It's really great and a lot of fun, and took me ages and cost me a few years of my life. And finally, he in the end, he concludes that in order for civilization to thrive in a world, forces and energy and nature are not enough. You need all 3 of them in a balanced way. And that's where this sentence comes in. Balanced systems stimulate civilizations. There isn't more to this than that. The second journal I found is the one of the bloke. Following, we can conclude. And with that we should have a much closer look. I think it's a lot more interesting. I have done it. I have used his swirling linking book to follow him. I touched my palm to its glowing panel and felt the tingling begin. There was a sudden sickening lurch inside my stomach. Then I fell into the page. This has happened before, I know it. It happened the first time I came to this place, when I followed his murdering sons from Narayan. It happened when I used his hidden books, and it happened when I finally opened the machine, right before the fog first ate my mind. The fog didn't find me this time. When I opened my eyes, I was alone in a room. I was standing in the home of my betrayers. I couldn't move. I was afraid. I thought they'd know that I had come and would be waiting for me, just like they had waited inside this very tusk. I was afraid they would tie me up again, that the poison snakes would strike. But the silence was unbroken. The whole house was still, and without really knowing what I did, I started to search every room, every floor, every cabinet. I found his journals, Atrus's never-ending journals. I found the book that brought me back to this world, the lesson world he calls Jananan. Oh, Tamra, my love, how long have I been trapped here? How much of my life has been eaten by the fog? The face I see in the lagoon isn't one I remember ever wearing. It's so much older, so much more savage, but it's me. It is Savitra, and I remember what they did, how led my people to death. I have returned several times now to Timana. I am searching for some sign of his sons. I was certain they would run back to their father, but so much time has passed, so many years in which to forget about my people. Is that what happened, Atrus? Safe in your beautiful new home, enjoying life with your dear wife and family, did you become so busy envisioning new worlds that you forget the ones you already created? I must be very careful. I must not let them know that I am free. I will read what journals I can find to figure out where his two sons are hiding, and when I've found the sons again, when I've got the whole family together, I'll bring them down. Atrus and his family will suffer the way I have suffered for years. Cirrus and Achenar are not in Tamana. Every day I become more and more convinced. Atrus' sons are not there. What happened, Atrus? Did you grow tired of them the way you grew tired of Narayan? Did you abandon them the way you abandoned my people behind your shield? It does not matter. I can still take revenge against their father. Now that I am no longer stuck on Jananan, I can avenge all the dead in my world. I have already reopened his other books. I have begun making changes in those worlds, using his own lessons against him. There is still much more work to be done, but eventually I will lure him into the tusk. I will find some way to make him follow me here from Timana. For now, I will concentrate on the orbiter. It is not a natural part of this world. The material that creates it is like nothing I've seen. It reminds me just a little of the shield, and if it is the same material, it can't be damaged. But perhaps I can damage the other devices. No, it cannot be true. Surely his journals deceive me. He says he's brought them back. He says he's given his Dunny brethren new life. But how? How can one man have so much power? How can one man's writings reawaken a dead world? I don't know what this means. By all that is sacred, Tamrak, what can it mean? Oops. It doesn't change a thing. I can still continue as I planned. I can still seek revenge for my people. I will make my enemies suffer. By the weaving Tamra, this changes everything. I have found a way to reprogram his scanning device. It requires scavenging parts from another mechanism in the task, but I think the gears I leave can still be operated by hand. Yes, and the gears he leaves will be according to those graphics, which is it's a good idea to either draw crudely or remember. We will find this and have to make it look like this actually, yeah. It is finished. All is ready for Atrus' arrival. Tonight I will sleep among the ghosts. Then tomorrow I will link into Tamana. When I link out, I'll be carrying his book. May the spirits of my people serve to guide me in this. So now we have 3 empty pages and a lot of confusing talk and an elevator.